highest, or one of the highest, in Temple baseball history. He won 2 Atlantic 10 championships when he was there, and he's in the Temple University Sports Hall of Fame. Former hitting coach with the Pittsburgh Pirates, 2006 and 2007. By the way, his number 30 was retired by the Buffalo Bisons, a AAA team. And before he was the former manager of the Lakewood Blue Claws in the Phillies farm system. And he did something very special for the Rochester minor league baseball team. Jeff, we're going to get into that later. But first, let's welcome former Philly number 30, Jeff Manto. Jeff Manto. Now, we have one more special guest to introduce. He is on the far right, and in 1977, he had 19 wins and just 6 losses for one of only 3 teams in Phillies history to win 100 games or more in a season. 76, 101, 77, 101, at 2011, 102. That's the all-time record. 3 Phillies teams have won 100 games or more. But LC, you were on 2 of them. 19-6 in 77. He was 13-8 in 76, and he was a member of the starting rotation in 1980 when the Phillies won their first World Series championship in Phillies history. Number 38, pitcher Larry Christenson. And LC pitched for the Phillies in the postseason, 77, 78, 80, and 81. LC, I would think winning the World Series was the highlight, but what about your pitching in postseason play do you remember the most?
Well, some you want to remember, Dan, and some you don't really want to remember. But let's just put it this way. I was fortunate to play on some really good teams during a great era of baseball. I think we all did. Played in that great era of baseball when it wasn't really about the money, but it was about the camaraderie and on and off the field, and just a great baseball and winning ways and just a lot of fun. And, I was a young guy. I was age 19, retired at 29, and played 11 years in the big leagues and had a lot of great teammates, still friends. But yeah, we're getting older, and but now it's great to watch this team that's playing now. I think that's
You want to know something else? LC, you are one of the few people, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, but you were drafted in 72? You were the first pick in the draft, not just in the first round, the first pick, period. Or how close?
Number 3.
Oh, number 3.
Yeah.
I was off by 2. But that's pretty darn high, isn't it? 3rd pick in the first round in 1972, and you knew by that time the Phillies were on their way. Did you have any reservations, Larry Christenson, about signing with the Phillies? Because at the time that you did, we weren't a very good baseball team.
Well, Steve Carlton had won 27 games before, but I didn't find that out until I got to spring training because I didn't even follow baseball. I was a basketball player. That's what I wanted to do. I just was playing baseball, and they drafted me, and I did not know who the Phillies were. I thought Phillies were horses, never heard of them. From north of Seattle, Washington, small town. I knew about the Dodgers and the Angels and the Twins. They were always on, TV on Saturday mornings, but I didn't pay any attention. Came to the Phillies, #1 draft choice, didn't really know what that was. Went to Pulaski, Virginia, played 6 games, and then right in the big leagues at 19 and 73, the youngest player in the major leagues, and it was not all that much fun because I took the jobs of their drinking partners. I kind of took those, and so it wasn't Dick Ruthven and I made it. He was a young guy out of college, and I was a teenager, so not very well accepted. So it was difficult back then. Now a little more welcoming. Now you can't get away with a lot of stuff. It's you don't have, there were no cameras and phones and all this and that. So it was like I said, I wouldn't turn it, turn it down for anything. It was a wonderful experience, and moved right on up and didn't have to go through that minor league system stuff. I had to kind of learn quickly or I was gone. Fought through a lot of injuries. Would have been nice to have been healthy, but I'm sure we all would have wished for that. But so
LC, I know you're very proud, as all pitchers are, of their hitting accomplishments. So LC, I want to ask you a trivia question. When you think of some of the pitchers in Phillies history, think about which ones were the best hitting pitchers. Think about which of those pitchers could hit the long ball. Do you know who hit the most home runs in a career? By the way, it's a tie for any Phillies pitcher. LC, do you know?
That's pretty much all I have, Dan, to wear my hat on.
Larry Christenson and Rick Wise. 11 home runs in their career, something like that.
Wow, yeah, that's good.
Hey, Jeff, growing up in this area, do you remember following this team, and who were some of the Phillies teams, Jeff, that you followed as a young fella growing up in Bucks County?
I'll tell you what, 1980 team was definitely one of the teams we followed. I remember as a kid watching LC pitch in I remember that series. I remember Willie Wilson striking out, Tug McGraw throwing the pitch. I remember George Brett having a couple medical problems. I remember the leading up to it. I think that series against the Astros, I have to honestly say, it really got me interested in baseball because it was so dramatic. Greg Rose has a pinch hit double. I think he might have 2 big pinch hits in that series in Houston. Then they're facing Scott, who at the time was the new pitch, was the split that just came out, and he was devastating all year. And I remember the biggest, with the Phillies winning in Houston and then coming back and playing the Royals, I remember that. I remember that, like, not as probably as detailed as LC does, but as a fan, I truly remember, and that's when I really do think I got into baseball. Like, this is great.
When you were the pitching coach, Jeff, in Pittsburgh, who were some of the guys under your tutelage?
We had the hitting coach. We had Freddie Sanchez. Yeah, we had Freddie Sanchez. He ended up winning the National League batting title that year. We had Jason Bay, who just came off of the Rookie of the Year. He was a really, really good player. Jack Wilson, and we had Andrew McCutcheon. He was up and down. He came up, then went back down. They really didn't want to push that. The free agent year, the Super 2, and those types of things. But we had Ryan Doman, who was a young player. So we had some good young players who went on to make their money elsewhere, but yet it was a fun experience.
And tell our fans, Jeff, what you're doing today.
Today, recently I was managing the Trenton Thunder in the Major League Draft League, and after 3 years of that, I decided to just drop that and move on. It was a great experience. A lot of good college players. Matter of fact, it was the first half of that season is something to watch. If you guys get a chance, you're seeing some of the best players in the country play under some high intensity. And so I just stepped down. That got to be a little bit too much. It got to be too redundant. Now I'm the head coach at Conwell-Egan High School, and that has been an absolute hoot. The Philadelphia Catholic League is definitely a very competitive league, and you come up here to play Carroll, you come up here to play O'Hara. It's a tough go, but it's quite fun.
Well, the Carpenter Cup just got underway. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. And you have a lot of, I was down there today announcing a game as the Interact League, the Philadelphia Interact League, you know, Malvern, John Campbell, Malvern, Episcopal, Penn Charter, and a lot of those schools. Anyway, some of the best players from that league beat a team from Berks County in the game that I announced today. I've got another one tomorrow. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. We've concluded the first segment of tonight's Independence Blue Cross Bull Session presented by SEPTA. And we'll be right back with Mickey Morandini and Larry Christenson.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda. Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chicky and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
Welcome back to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session on WBCB 1490 AM and 107.3 FM. Tonight we're live at Chickies and Pete's on Liberty Boulevard in Malvern, Pennsylvania. Special guests, Larry Christenson, Jeff Manto. My co-host is Mickey Morandini. And I'm Dan Baker. Mickey, Jeff played on that team in '93, which you guys went to the World Series. And when you think back to your World Series experience, and of course beating the Braves to win the National League pennant, think of all of the guys who played in the big leagues that never have experienced that. People like Ernie Banks, the great shortstop for the Chicago Cubs, Hall of Famer. So what makes that so special, Mickey, for a ball player?
Well, that's why you play the game, to win a world championship. And we have a guy over here that was able to do that. But, you know, we came up a little short. But it's like Larry said, it's the camaraderie and how you get there. And we had such a good time. The clubhouse was so close. Jeff can attest to that, how well we got along. We pushed each other. We had fun in the clubhouse, but when we went on the field, we played the game the right way. We played the game hard. And the fans took to us. They took to that aggressive, hard style of baseball. and the dirty style baseball. And, we started out with probably 20,000 fans at a game, and by, May and June we had 55,000 fans. So it was just a lot of fun. It's that camaraderie and friendship, and we still get together and still talk about that season today.
Jeff Manto, did you have, you played for the Phillies for a portion of 1993. What were you, in the postseason, I don't believe you were on the roster, or were you, Jeff?
I was an alternate. How if somebody would have gotten hurt and in that position, I would have been considered to join the active roster. But obviously nobody got hurt and I wasn't active.
So, as an inactive player with the 1993 National League champions, what did you do during postseason play?
Well, what we did, we had the opportunity to take batting practice earlier before the regulars came on the field. It wasn't as though we were completely stale or not doing anything, but once and we knew our role once the team stretch became, we were out there shagging, and our main goal was just to get out of the way. We completely understood who we were, how we were to be used. It was communicated quite clearly what our role was, and it was just it was a really good place to be. And the best part about it is that we knew exactly where we stood.
Did you happen to be at the vet when Larry Christenson's 1980 team won the World Series?
I was not. No, I was not.
How about for any of the postseason games? You talked about Houston and the great NLCS. Did you see
I was not at any of the games. It was just too comfortable to be at home.
Okay.
So, no, we did not get a chance to get to any of those games, no.
LC, you were there.
I think so.
And one of the things that Mickey and I were talking about, and I don't know if you've heard this discussion, Jeff and LC, but people think that the crowd at Citizens Bank Park was the loudest that baseball fans have ever experienced, and it was awesome. The way the fans reacted, to the Phillies in 2022, and then last year when they almost made it back to the World Series, as they did in 2022. And they've asked me, since I was there, for 80 and 83 and 93 and 2008 and 2009, and they say, yeah, this was I said, ooh, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, Dan, sorry to interrupt you, but right now what popped in my head, I was there for some of these games in 08 and recently, and how I remember I brought Pete Rose out to the game one night when I had to get, permission to bring him, and he thought it was one of the greatest things. But in 1980, when we were in Houston, in the Astrodome, and I'm standing on the mound, I had pitched in, lost 1-0 in 10 innings to Necro, and then came in relief the Game 5 against Nolan Ryan, and that crowd, you could not, it was vibrating right through you. So I would say that it's really loud at Citizens Bank Park for an open air, but closed. I've never felt anything like at the Houston Astrodome, and you can ask some of those guys like Boa. Ask Boa would be Boa. He always has a good answer for everything. But I appreciate him because he's Mr. Baseball. He's really worked hard at, staying in the game and knowing the game. And Boa, that would be a good question to ask Larry Boa. It was phenomenal, the noise right through you.
Well, we will be having Larry Boa as a guest on the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session this year. Matter of fact, we were going to have him a couple of weeks ago. He had a conflict with the Brian Dawkins Celebrity Golf Tournament. But he said, I will definitely be on the show.
No, he just rather wanted to play golf, Dan. He just blew you off to go play golf.
No, he's pretty good. He was very apologetic. And listen, you guys don't have to do this, LC and Jeff, and we really appreciate. We're happy to provide you with a gift certificate to Eddie V's Seafood, but that hardly compensates you for your valuable time and your willingness to come out and see these wonderful fans Look at Mark Weissner. He's never been happier in his life.
Well, we come out for you, Dan. We come out for you because you've been our friend for so many years. So
Well, thank you. You're very kind. Jack and Ellen Foreman are special photographers. And Lauren, Tara Steinbacher and Sean, I don't know where they are, but we're glad to have them here. And Brianna O'Neill, thank you for producing tonight. And one of the greatest athletes in Malvern Prep history, John Campbell, is here. And John, I want to thank you. And you bring to mind guys like Fran Dunphy and Ben Davis, and it's great to have all of you here. How many moments do we have left? We got about 2 minutes left. Jeff, tell us how the Conwell-Egan baseball team did this year.
I'll tell you what, we had some really good pitching. I know in high school you need about 1 or 2 pitchers. We had 4, and I figured that out real quick. And we managed to do all right. We came off a 6-13 record last year. Years previous, I think, before I got there, they were trying to figure themselves out. And this year we got a chance to get to the second round of the PIAA playoffs. We got beat by a team in Danville, Pennsylvania. But yet the kids worked hard. We got a lot of new kids coming in, a lot of transfers coming in, because we've been extremely transparent on how we do things. We're honest with the players, and it seems to be working pretty well right now.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head your final record for this year?
I think it was 17-5.
Yeah.
So then it wasn't too bad. The kids worked hard. They really did. We started practice in the fall. We didn't stop until last Thursday. So the kids deserve a lot of credit. They really worked hard.
Well, congratulations on your season. LC, a lot of these fans care deeply about all of you ball players, and you have had some medical issues in the last few years. How are you doing? People care for you. They would like to know how you're feeling and what do you have to do going forward?
Well, you find out when you get older, you start falling apart, Dan. No, I was born with a back problem, and it just deteriorated over the last few years. I played with it. I suffered through it my whole life, but I had 2 major back operations, and I'm going in for my 3rd because it's just hasn't worked. So some work, some don't. Going in for a pretty major operation, so that's it. I'll be fine.
Best of luck to you, LC. You still look tremendous. I know you still have a big female following, so, that can make you forget all that other stuff, can't it? But, hey, we'll be right back with Larry Christenson, Jeff Manto, Mickey Morandini. I'm Dan Baker. But first, this from WVCV Radio.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda? Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chicky and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. While you're enjoying your favorite beverage or dinner, you're listening this evening to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, brought to you by SEPTA. And we're talking Phillies baseball with Mickey Morandini, Jeff Manto, and Larry Christenson. Larry and Jeff, every week, our co-host picks a Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Phillies Player of the Week. And after going over to London, England, to see the Phillies up close and personal, Mickey has come back with a selection for this week. Mickey, who is it?
Well, seems like every week there's 4 or 5 Phillies you could pick. I mean, they're playing so well. I think the last 2 times I've picked pitchers, and you could take a starting pitcher almost every week because their starting pitching is phenomenal. But I'm going to go with Bryce. He's really gotten hot. I think he's up to 15 home runs, close to 50 RBIs. Will probably make the All-Star team again. Hit a long home run in London. So I'll go Bryce Harper for this week.
All right. Well, it's hard to argue with. You could pick Bryce Harper practically every week,
well, that's
right?
true.
And he probably would deserve it.
Right.
Hey, I have to give a shout out to Jason Worth, a member of the 2008 World Series champion Phillies, 2009 World Series team that lost to the Yankees, because Jason Worth owns a horse named Dornock, who won the Belmont Stakes last Saturday at Saratoga Racetrack, because Belmont Park is undergoing renovations. So congratulations to Jason, and we're very happy for the former Phillies right fielder who played such an important part in the back-to-back World Series teams of 2008 and 2009. Are any? Now, you must have been a Philadelphia Park fan, Jeff, weren't you, at one time?
I remember watching, I don't know what you call them, the carts? What do you call those?
You mean the bullpen cart you're talking about?
No, the cart, the horses.
The horses pull?
Well, I don't know what that is. Yeah, we used to do
Bring the relievers
parks.
in, you mean?
Nah, not the horses, the horses.
Oh, you mean the trotters?
The trotters, yeah. We used to do
okay,
the
I thought
trotter,
you were
do
talking
the
about
trotter
that.
thing. And that was quite interesting. Every once in a while we would head down there, but nothing crazy like the Belmont.
You know, something I wanted to ask all of you, and Larry Christenson, you played with and against some of the greatest players in the game, many Hall of Famers. Name a few and tell us what made them so good.
Well, before we go there, you got to talk about Dick Allen if you're going to talk about horses.
Oh,
so Dick was an
thank
astute,
you.
and Jim Cott too. You know, was a horse guy because of Dick Allen. So guys, I mean, my first game in a Phillies uniform against big league hitters was in spring training. Remember, we didn't have any interleague play, so it was the Boston Red Sox. Lonborg pitched the first 3, his former team, and my first batter was Carl Yastrzemski. I'm 19 years old. I struck him out. And I struck out almost everybody in spring training. That's why I made the team. Otherwise, they'd never given a chance. So I made the team. But he was also my last hitter in 3 innings, and I struck him out. So Carl Yastrzemski, Carlton Fisk, certainly all the Big Red Machine. They didn't want to get in the box when I was pitching in spring training games, And then, Detroit Tigers and K-Line, and hit 2 home runs off of Mickey Lolich, not in the Hall of Fame, but with Dick Allen's 42-ounce bat, by the way, because I broke my bat. But, all the Fergie Jenkins and pitched against Nolan Ryan and, Tom Seaver hit a home run off of him in Shea Stadium, reminded him of that, and just all kinds of guys, and talk about Ernie Banks used to come out to Wrigley Field and hang out with us and talk, and Koufax, I see him quite often, just Drysdale went to the grand opening of his. I mean, I had a lot of opportunities and met some great players who were just normal guys, normal people, and their families or teams, but pitching in Dodger Stadium, hit a home run for Farrah Fawcett, my pass, so that was pretty cool, right? I mean, I could go on and on. That's a really good question.
Hey, this wonderful audience and these loyal followers of ours and those listening and watching at home, invite you to continue.
That was a lot of fun, I mean, I could go on, but it's good. That's good. They got a lot of really great players, and I've been up to the Hall of Fame when groups up there when Carlton went in 95, Schmidt and Ashburn in 94, 95, Schmidt and Ashburn, and then Bunning in 96. So 3 in a row. Had a lot of fun up there. The Hall of Fame still contribute to the Hall of Fame, but just really met some really great people and played against the greats.
Toughest out.
Oh, toughest out. Al Oliver, who was a Philly.
Oh, I know. That's my all-time favorite baseball player, Scoops.
Line drive off the left center field wall just might as well, Al, just go to second base. You're in. Just go to second base. I go, Mickey, that's another good question, but the St. Louis Cardinals, the speed, the switch hitting back in those days, and Lou Brock, my first batter in St. Louis at 19, throw a pitch right down the middle. And the umpire said, ball 1, rookie. I mean, that's what I was up against. I'm going, holy crap. I ended up walking him, and he stole. I'm going, this is not going to be easy. But Al Oliver, the Pirates were a tough team. I hate to say it, Gary Carter, until I hit him in the head for the second time in one game. He didn't touch me again. Garvey, until I drilled him a couple of times. I learned about all that, really, not only pitching inside, but you got to pitch even more. Back in those days, it was just drill somebody and don't talk to the opposing hitters was what I was taught by my guys because of Bob Gibson. I watched Bob Gibson steal second base in Philadelphia and win a game 1-0 when he scored on a hit by Brock, 2 outs. So I ended up in Cincinnati. Tom Seaver pitching. He was traded from the Mets. I was almost up to New York, but Zachary went up from the Mets, or Zachary went from Cincinnati to the Mets. Seaver goes to Cincinnati. Johnny Bench, the catcher. So I get a base hit off of Seaver, standing on first base with 2 outs. And old Twinkle Toes goes, yes, I got to do it. Bob Gibson did it with the score was 0-0. It was like the 5th, 6th inning or something like that. And I took off to second base. Seaver threw a fastball. Bench has got the ball ready. I'm not even halfway there. And I'm looking to my left, and Bench, ball in a glove. He gets ready, pops out the ball. So I see it floating in the air. He lost it in the air. So pop-up slide, brushed off, and they were ticked off. Steve from Live Sports Bureau, Steve Hearn, I think his name, he said that you're the first and only pitcher to ever steal a base off 2 future battery mates Hall of Famers. I go, well, I didn't know that. Well, so that was one of my other claim to fame. But the thing is that Johnny and I were pretty close, but because we dated sisters. And so I got a ball sign to LC. You stole the base off me, but I let you, Johnny Bench.
That's cool.
That was worth it.
Larry Christenson. Hey, Jeff, same question to you. Greatest players you played with and those you played against.
I'll tell you, one of the greatest players, one of the best Hall of Famers I played with was definitely Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken was a true professional through and through. He took care of everybody. You didn't know where you stood with Cal Ripken. He treated everybody the same. He always had a positive word to say. And the one year, I think it was 96 when I played, or 95 when I played in Baltimore, he made everybody feel part of his journey when he broke Gehrig's record. And it was just a genuine person. I think we all know that genuine guy in the clubhouse, the guy that doesn't roll his eyes or talk about you when you're not around him. Cal Ripken was a sincere person. He was a better person than he was a player, for sure. But probably my best friend and one of my best friends in baseball is definitely Jim Thome. Jimmy and I came up together a little bit. I was a little bit older than Jimmy, and I'll never forget it. We were in instructional league, and I was down learning how to catch. So him and I went out to dinner one night, and he told me, he goes, "Mick, all I want is to have one at bat in the big leagues." I looked at him and said, "One?" I said, "I got a feeling you're going to have a lot more than one." And so he was a tremendous person. Then Derek Jeter, he was one of those guys, it was similar to Ripken, to where he was genuine. He was a genuine person, probably a better person than he was a player. When you talked to him, you felt as though he really listened to you, cared about what you had to say, and it was nice to be his teammate. There's many, many more, but I tell you, like LC was saying, there's a lot of great players that are really good people.
Mickey Morandini.
You know what? Couple more names. Like I was just when Jeff was talking, I was thinking about going back. I mean, I could just go like pitching against Hank Aaron in Atlanta at 19 years old, pitching against Juan Marichal and Willie Mays and all. You know, I was just a young kid, didn't really know who these guys were. So, the great things to be a part of that. That was pretty neat. You know, those are great memories to have.
Well, LC, you're part of that important baseball history, especially when it comes to Phillies baseball. Mickey, how about you?
I mean, I played with Lenny Dykstra, who, when healthy, was one of the best players in the league. I played with Sammy Sosa. I played with Curt Schilling, who was one of the best pitchers in the league. I played with Roy Halladay in Toronto when he was young, still learning how to pitch, but obviously he became a super pitcher. Guys I played against, best one I've ever played against is Barry Bonds, hands down. In that era, there was nobody even close to him for me. He was that good.
Well, I think you guys have to appreciate how good one needs to be athletically to play Major League Baseball, and then to play at the highest levels with Hall of Famers, both with and against, as you guys have. You know, my goodness, what an important part of your life all of this had to be. And think of the important role that you played in a lot of fans' lives appreciating what you do. Because each of you has made contributions at the major league level and beyond baseball that have impacted people's lives. Look at all of the people that have come out tonight for your autographs and photos. And speaking of that, Jack and Ellen, we have to get a photo afterwards with the four of us. And I have a friend named John Campbell that wants to get a photo with us if we can. And Brianne tells us that we're getting close to the last commercial break on tonight's Independence Blue Cross Bull session. Now don't forget, if you enjoyed tonight's show, tell your family and friends, because it will be archived on the WBCB radio website. And you can watch or listen to as much or as little as you'd like, beginning as early as tomorrow. Brianne, when will the show be archived? Well, we're going to take our last commercial break. We'll come back for the final portion of tonight's show after these words.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda. Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chicky and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, PA. Our thanks to Mark Weissner. Now, Mark every week donates an autographed photo that we give away to one of our wonderful fans. This happens to be Vance Worley. And Mickey Morandini is going to pick somebody to whom this will be gifted.
So one person put their hand up, so that's who gets it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Well, thank you for attending. I know that a nice lady and her husband are friends of Jack and Ellen Foreman, so they must be okay. Now, let's talk about the 2024 Phillies. And we'll start this. Mickey, you had to wait for LC and Jeff to talk about the best players they played with and against. Let's start with you in terms of assessing the American and National League pennant races for 2024.
Well, if I would have told you on June 10th the Phillies would be, I think 46-20. I think that's their record. And 9 games ahead of the Braves, I think everybody would have said, okay, we'll take that, right? They've been tremendous. The starting pitching, I think Larry Bowa told me the other day that the top 4 starters for the Phillies and their top 4 relievers have a 1.85 ERA, and that is the best in history. The history of the game for the top 4 starters and top 4 relievers on a team. So that says something right there. But for me, it's going to be health. You know, we're starting to lose some guys here. Turner got hurt. Marsh got hurt. From what I understand, JT's got some knee issues. He may be having to have a little bit of a scope or something. So we got to stay healthy, especially with that starting pitching. But, wow, what a start. They're playing great baseball. My only concern right now is they were on the West Coast for 6 or 7 days. They came back to the East Coast. They were in London for 4 days. Now they're back to the East Coast. That's a lot of travel in a short period of time. I hope they don't get tired because they have a big road trip here. They play Boston and Baltimore, 2 really good teams. And then coming home, they have Arizona and San Diego. So they got a little bit of a tough schedule here. So hopefully they can withstand all that travel and continue to play good baseball.
Jeff Manto, I want to ask for your assessment of these pennant chases in 2024. I also want to mention that we had a fellow who I think is a friend of yours, a former Indians coach, out of Pennsville, New Jersey, Chris Widger.
Oh, yes.
And I believe he's coaching one of the short season teams in North Jersey. or is he doing Trenton now?
I don't know, but I know he's been involved with the Wilmington Ball Club for a lot
Yes.
of years, and he's been
The
at
Blue
a couple
Rods.
independent ball clubs. He's a tremendous coach, tremendous manager, and obviously a pretty darn good player as well.
So, Jeff, where do you see the Phillies ending up? Who do you think is going to be their toughest competition to represent the National League in the World Series? And who do you think the National League champion is going to meet in the Fall Classic?
Well, I tell you what, one of the things, I'm from a player development standpoint. I think I have spent a lot of time in player development and understand the player development side of winning in the major leagues. And what I see, where I don't hear too many people talk about it, is how good the minor leagues has been this year. With these guys getting hurt and the guys are calling up, now there's some rumblings about some players coming up, the guys who have come up in the minor leagues have doing well, coming up and taking the place of some guys who were hurt. And I think that's a tremendous credit to the whole system. And I know when I was in Cleveland, we were winning, we were going to the World Series in Cleveland, we had a big-time payroll. Once somebody told me in Buffalo in 97 and 98, our payroll in Buffalo was more than the Expos' payroll. And you need those players to come and supplement the guys, and I think the Phillies have done a great job on the minor league side. And I think the major league, I think we knew what was going to happen. That story started and it ended at the end of spring training. You knew the Phillies are going to be in the playoffs. You know the Phillies are going to be at the end. You know the Phillies are going to be at least competing for the pennant. Who their toughest competition is going to be? Atlanta and LA, they're going to come back. I mean, Atlanta's going to come back. They're not going to go away. But yet, I got to believe, with the Orioles, what they're doing, and with the Yankees, that one of those two teams, they're going to have to watch out for.
Larry Christenson, I was reading about you on the internet, as I was Jeff Manto. And it talked about the famous Mason. How did you come by that nickname? And I know you are a Mason, and I know that's limited to very successful people.
You mean a Freemason? Yes, I'm a Freemason. I'm a 33rd degree Mason. Very, very proud of it.
LC, would you put that microphone a little closer? Yeah.
Yes,
sorry.
I'm a 33rd degree Mason. I'm proud of it, and there was a lot of former baseball players and Hall of Famers. I used to go to my different lodges and give speeches on and talks on how many Masons are in the Hall. There must be, I think, there's anywhere given 35 to 55 Masons that are established Masons that were in the Hall of Fame, and then hundreds upon hundreds that played baseball, mainly from back in the older, generations when it was more popular, So yes, I'm a Mason, have been for probably 25 years now, something like that. But as far as the current baseball team, to get that in before the show ends, I agree with Mickey about, this is history going on right here. This is unheard of, what's going on with starting pitching, relief, offense, and winning, and then excitement for the fans. Accept it, be grateful. It's not going to last probably forever. There's going to be maybe some highs and lows and injuries and all that, but right now, yes, this is damn history. This is really exciting for Phillies fans, and people should really, really soak it in right now and root for them to continue, because it's going to be a special, special year.
LC, how many home runs in a year would Mike Schmidt or Greg Luzinski have hit at Citizens Bank Park?
How about me? I would have beat Rick Wise. And plus, if I kept off the DL, they would have had quite a few, yes. They certainly would. Bull blasts and upper deckers at the vet in the old days, those were a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what, we went out being the hitting coach in Pittsburgh and then Chicago White Sox. I remember specifically the guys, when we were going into Philly, we would sit down and would say, hey, Jeff, listen, I need to have a plan. I need to leave Philly with at least 3. And you just sit up playing, look at video, because they knew where the jet stream was, and so people love coming here to hit.
Mickey, do you want to address hitting in Philadelphia, whether at the Vet or Citizens Bank Park?
Well, it's the Vets or the Citizens Bank Park is a really good park to hit in. You know, it's the fence. Well, all the new ballparks, they make them for hitters. I mean, when Larry pitched, a lot of the fences in center field were like probably 420 feet, or they were 370 down the line, things like that. And guys were still hitting 30, 35 home runs. But yeah, Bull and Schmitty today at this field, I would think they could hit 60. I mean, I really do. And even Larry Boa probably could hit 4 or 5 out of Citizens Bank Park.
No.
Well, when I think of some of the you talked about Dick Allen earlier, LC, and he was one of my heroes growing up, and I'm friendly with his son Richard, and I'm so hoping he comes up for vote again this year, Mickey and Jeff and LC, for the Veterans Committee for the Hall of Fame. And he's missed by 1 vote each of the last 2
twice.
times.
Yeah, Dick Allen, what a treat it was to be a teammate of his, and to talk hitting and watch him. I watched him hit and watch him hit. I saw him almost take a pitcher's head off, and the ball went straight over center field into the fountain at Veterans Stadium. He almost took the pitcher's head off. That was a line drive that was just hit so hard I couldn't believe it. But he could really hit some bombs, and he could run, he could throw, he was really a tremendous athlete, and I hope he gets his due, and he deserves the Hall of Fame.
Well, you know, this radio show is named for Greg Luzinski, one of the greatest sluggers in Phillies history, and he hit the hardest ball I've seen in 52 years of doing Major League Baseball public address announcing. It too, LC, was a line shot, and it hit off the Liberty Bell on the facing of the upper deck. It was still rising. It looked like a heat-seeking missile, Jeff and Mickey. Now, speaking of some Pittsburgh power hitters, Jeff, I wasn't there in '71. That's the only year I didn't announce Phillies baseball at Veterans Stadium. Willie Stargell hit one through one of the hallways in the upper deck in right field near the foul line. And people that were there, like Chris Wheeler, tell me that was the longest that they've seen.
Yeah, the Stargell Star was up there at the vet, pretty amazing home runs at Veterans Stadium that I got to watch, so it was a lot of fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you liked the show tonight. If you did, how about a big round of applause for Larry Christenson, Jeff Manto, Mickey Morandini. I'm Dan Baker. See you next Monday at Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia.